So that was my next job Monday morning. I picked up the top box and carried it outside of the tent. And there was wriggling inside. So when I put it down, I lifted the little kind of hardboard top off the wood, off the box, off the drawer. And I looked inside and I couldn't see anything. So I started to just shuffle a few things around, and they're so bloody quick, they're so fast. So something darted around from one corner of the box to the other. And so I started to lift things out. And the next thing I know, there's a thud on top of my foot and something scurries off, basically under the tent. Tina, will you stop? So, I don't know if you've ever been up close and personal with a mouse. They're tiny, they're fast, but they're very dense, they're very muscular. They don't have a lot of fat on them. They're kind of chunky so I felt this thud on the top of my foot, and the bugger scampered away. But I knew then that I'd kind of more or less, I was on the right path to solving my problem. It was that one drawer that they'd got into. So I sorted through what was in that drawer. Some things were in plastic containers and so were safe. Other things were in cardboard boxes which just hadn't been touched. And other things were decimated and spread all over the place. There was one little pack of, a sachet of immensely. And there was one thing of, I think it was a corn flour that they'd been in, and that was all over the place. And the drawer was full of their droppings, their feces. Oops. So I brought that out, solved that, but this little mouse scurried away under the tent, and I think he probably got back in later. That's another story. But for a couple of days after, I was hearing scurrying around, bold or desperate, I think. They were visible on top of bags, going over things and into things. They were scrambling, looking for their lost food. Go. I think it was the next morning. One of the traps went off. And it was one of the ones I couldn't see. I couldn't see the trap. And when I looked, there was a mouse caught by the leg. I might have my days mixed up here. And there's so many mice. The title of the video, this one, I didn't know what else to put, but you know, I am become death, destroyer of mice. I've lost count of how many mice I've killed this week. It's somewhere between 4 and 6, I think. And they haven't all been clean kills, unfortunately. I've said before, I'm not happy about killing them. But I can't be lying there with them running around on my bedside cabinet alongside my bed. Or discovering that they've actually been on my bed. There's a limit, you know? They've been trying to get in my food. And for the first time in 20 years or so, I was ill a few weeks ago. I don't know whether that's just a coincidence or not, but couldn't carry on, guys. Couldn't carry on. So this one mouse was caught by the leg, and this time I picked the trap up, put something under. I carried it outside across here, and I released him. I suspect he's probably going to die of shock or something with a badly broken leg, but he wasn't going to die in the tent there and then. He would have probably chewed his leg off to get away, and I wasn't going to stand there and watch that. Call me soft. I wasn't going to stand there and watch that. So I brought him, it was the middle of the night, I brought him out here and released him and kind of shooed him away in that direction. So that was that. Are we back? Hello, hello. That time I got told that the connection was dropped. Are we all here? I'll have a swig of my coffee while we wait and see if everyone arrives back. Answer yes or no in the chat if you're here. If I see any no's, I'll know that you're just taking the piss. Okay. Hope I wasn't gone for too long. So I was just saying about how I kicked this mouse out, and then the next morning I had my bedroom door open, and I was hearing little scratching noises out in the other part of the tent, the non-bedroom part. And then I saw a mouse run across from the doorway across towards my food, which meant there were two in there, because that wasn't the one that I'd been hearing. And I came out into the vestibule area, and the one mouse ran out, and another one I could hear inside one of my bags. This is not the best thing ever. I got a big rubber mallet for hammering in tent pegs. I took care of one. And even though I'd got him, I smacked him a second time because I didn't want any long lingering deaths. See the title of the video, I Am Become Death. I don't like it, guys. It's not good for my mental health. But I can't have them running around in my food, or you know, I mean, everything in that bag was sealed. I don't have very much that's out and about that can be, because of this. Everything's in plastic boxes or in glass jars or in Tupperware. But if I let them keep swarming me like this, it's just going to build, or it was just going to build and build. If you see one, there's probably 5. If you see 2, there's probably 10 nearby. So after killing this one, I retreated into my bedroom and closed the door. And as I've said before, it doesn't zip up anymore, so it's just nipped together and held with safety pins. And that means there's just this one entry point. There's a zip along the bottom. I think I've shown that in my video once. So there's just this one narrow entry point, and I put a mouse trap inside the tent just at that point. And I was lying on my bed, not being happy about my own actions killing the other mouse. And one stuck its head through. I didn't see it. First thing, I'm just reading stuff on probably on Twitter or whatever, X as it calls itself now. I was excreting my thoughts on X, and there was a sudden snap. And when I looked up, there's a mouse, not yet dead, but caught clean across the middle. And he kind of wriggled for 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds before he kind of slumped. Yeah. I left him for a minute to die, kind of undisturbed, in case he was still alive in any way. And then I just carried him out here and put him in the bin. I mean, what else am I going to do? I'm not digging holes and burying them. I'm not holding funeral services. But taking a life, even of a mouse, taking a life and then just casually throwing it in the bin? Don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So, like I said, somewhere between 4 and 6 mice dead this week. I declared victory last night. Certainly on the battle of the bedroom. I'm not lying there now listening and thinking that there's a mouse inside my bedroom. I'm not hearing rustling and scurrying about underneath my bed. Because this is what they do. They stick to the walls as much as they can. They'll go around the edge. So they won't often run across the middle of a room unless something happens. But yeah, I think I've had 2 days now, or 2 nights, where there's no hint of activity with mice in the bedroom. So by getting rid of that food source and putting the traps in the right place and taking a bit of preemptive action, they're not in the bedroom. Occasionally I'll hear some scurrying or something going on in this outside part still. And I've moved all of the traps now, all except one. I've moved them all out of the bedroom and into the outer part of the vestibule part, the non-bedroom part of the tent. I keep the one and I put that inside the doorway at night, so if anything does come in, there's a greater than 50-50 chance it'll get snapped by the trap. I think if I'd not taken action, they would be swarming me now, like they were in, was it April or May? Before I started this channel, I had literal rats running through my bedroom, and they're braver. They would just run along. I was chasing with a fucking knife, not a kitchen knife either, like a woodman's knife or a bushcraft knife. So I had to do something. I'm pleased with the result. You know, I'm declared victory on that half of the tent. I got to get more. I got to stop them. They keep probing. They keep trying to come into the other part of the tent, and I keep chasing them away. Maybe I should let them into the traps. I don't know. Maybe I should just position the traps better. At the minute, they're inside the central part, in amongst the supermarket bags of food. Maybe I should just put them to the edge where the mice come in. The fact that I'm hearing them means that they might not be mice. That's the other thing. Mice are almost silent unless they jump or fall or are running across plastic bags. The fact that I hear these things entering the tent might mean they're the bigger ones, and I've only got one trap suitable for those. I don't know. I've started to see cats. Cats have disappeared from this area for a little while, and I was walking Tina, I think it was yesterday morning, and there was a cat hanging about at the top end of this field. So that's a good sign. If the cat makes its way further into the field, rats and mice will be less likely to come messing about. The problem is Tina will chase a cat away. She works against me so many times. There used to be a couple of cats here, and I'd try and feed them the dog food, and because they're hungry, they would take it. But Tina wouldn't let them. She wouldn't even let me carry a little bowl of her dog food away from the camp to kind of meet the cats halfway. She would growl and bark and run around and try and get the cats, chase them away. I keep trying to explain to her that I want the cats here, but she's having none of it. She's having none of it. So that's been the story of the mice through the week.